Hey guys, it's Robin, RsIslandCrafts, and welcome to my craft room. This is my WiP It Wednesday video where I show you the crafts I've worked on this week, whether I worked on them for just a few seconds or I've actually worked long enough to finish my projects. I've dabbled a little bit in everything this week and not actually accomplishing a lot. Now, nobody expected that, right? I have two washcloths that I finished. I finished off a green and a gray, and I've gotten past the halfway mark. This is all the increases, and now I'm on to the decreases, and this one's a combination of the two, as you can tell. A little bit of green, a little bit of gray. I'll have plenty to go ahead and finish this off, and a little bit left over probably for another one. In all these little bags, I've got myself organized. I have to make 5 of the memory bears. 2 of them were in that green velour Halloween costume. 2 of them were in the jammies that were the satiny ones and then the cotton ones. And then this one is for Mama that's got all 3 fabrics in it. I've got everything traced out. I've got it stabilized or interfaced, however you want to look at it, to make sure that this fabric here isn't going to wear out too quickly with the bears, and you don't want to get a hole in the bear from that one area, right? So everything's cut out and ready to go, and now I can just go ahead and start sewing them. Normally when I was doing the rare bears, I went ahead and I assembly lined them, and I do like 5 or 10 bears all at once. But I think this time, so that I don't get any of the piles mixed up and all the bears stay just the way I figured them out, that I'm just going to do one at a time. It's going to be quicker to do assembly line, but once I get the rhythm going, it should be okay. Now I just hope that the bears where I've mixed, like this one where I've mixed the fabrics together, that I don't have like a good versus evil, a half and half bear. I tried to mix it up. I have a really hard time visualizing this pattern and where the pieces go. So when I was doing it before, they were just all scrappy. It was simple. Everyone had different fabrics. It all worked out good. This time, well, we'll see how it looks. I'm sure it'll be fine. I picked up Robbie's socks for very, very, very little. And I've made it this much. Just, what is that? A whole, not even a whole inch, so... When I take Robbie today for his massage, it's an hour-and-a-half massage, I'm going to go ahead and take this project with me, and I'll be stuck there and I won't be able to wander around and do anything else, so I should be able to get some good progress made on this sock. I was reading an Instagram post yesterday, which was Sunday, stating that there was only 65 days left till Christmas. So I don't know, maybe I read an old post or something, but either way, it's coming up close. Christmas, and today's Wednesday's the 24th, so Christmas really is only 60 days away. That's kind of scary. Have you guys started any of your Christmas projects yet? So you've seen this candle mat if you've been watching my videos. This is what I worked on for my last Sew With Me Friday video. I really like the way this turned out. It was kind of fun. All those straight line stitching, it does use up a lot of thread and everything, and it did get a little frustrating when I wasn't pulling the thread up to the top. But as you can see, everything is nice and clean on the back. The only issue I have now is that it is off center, which is fine. And then I put the fabric on. It's on a little bit wonky, but once again, it's okay, and it's turned sideways. But it's a candle mat. You're not going to see both sides at the same time, right? I was a little surprised that I've never done this much quilting. I say I quilt my quilts to death, but I don't. I do a lot of free motion everywhere, and every bit of it has a little bit of quilting on it. But I've never done so much so close together like this, and it really compacted it. Look how nice and tight that is. It does curl up in a few little spots here. I haven't pressed it, and I'm sure that would go down with a good pressing from the iron. A little bit of steam kind of makes everyone behave. And then I still have to put the binding on. But I'm waiting to see how this looks after I hit it with the iron and put the binding on, because if this works out really well, and I'd like to make some wall hangings like this with that amount of quilting. It's nice and thin, and it's very, very lightweight. I don't feel like this would be very heavy as a quilt, but you would think it would with all that extra quilting on it. It would definitely keep you warm. There's nothing going to get through this. I've seen them do this a lot with this style quilting for coasters. I would imagine that... I wonder though if the water would just... I guess everyone does. A lot of people do it, so it probably does work. But I would think maybe the water would pool up. But it can go down into these channels because it's just cotton fabric and cotton batting, right? So it's a nice thin coaster that wouldn't make your glass wobble. So might have to try them out one time. Haven't made coasters in a bit. I got very little work done on my miter square again. On my miter square blanket, I should say. I have these squares, these 3 squares done. I probably got about 18 more squares, plus or minus, before I get this corner done. I did that thing where I started with this ball of yarn and I knit this square. And then I went ahead and I continued on and I knit this square. You can't even tell because this purple here, it basically ended here, I guess. Because when I went over to here, I was into this. That was kind of like a weird swampy green color or something. It's a really strange combo, the purple, the pink, and this almost olivey green, I guess. I don't know about, I'm not good at matching colors, but I don't think this one doesn't appeal to me that much. I'm really not very interested in that color combo. But I do like this blue. This is like a turquoisey blue. It's really nice. I seem to have been drawn to the blues lately. But I just love all these colors together, and I love how certain ones just kind of pop out. I also got my pumpkin wall hanging completely finished. I did go ahead and I went ahead and I wet this, my pumpkin, and I put it upside down on a big fluffy towel, and I went ahead and gave some more steam to it, and it allowed the colors. First of all, it made it all kind of wrinkly like a pumpkin, so it's not like perfectly flat. I really like the texture in this like this, and that's because I have that interfacing on the back, so the cotton had to stay the way it was. And it had to stay within these lines. It couldn't stretch out and spread, right? So I did that, and I smoothed out the different colors from the crayon. So from a distance, I think it looks really nice. I like that little bit of wrinkles. It evened out all the colors that were in the stem here, just kind of disappeared a little, and it evened out the greens. I tested out the free motion foot on my Juki. Oh, it's a dream. Like I said yesterday, that machine, it was just a dream to go ahead and do the free motion stitching on this. It was so smooth. I wasn't stressing and having to like force anything through. And with the bed of the machine being so large, this just slid across it really well. That machine, the bed of it is really a slick plastic. So I went ahead and did that. Then I went to the outside and I used an orange thread because I didn't want to put a white in the pumpkins or anything like that. I was debating between the orange and the green, and I wanted the orange to kind of disappear into it. The green would have made it look more like vines, but I thought it'd be nice to just let it disappear and let this orange let the embroidery of the pumpkin just pop off of the mat, like off the wall hanging like that. I'm still thinking about the candle mat because that's about the same size. I definitely wouldn't want to put a candle on this. So I was going to do the facing like I talked about last week, and I had it on there, and before I went and spun it to the back, I actually saw the way the brown looked against the pumpkins like that, and I really liked it. So I went ahead and I just used it as binding. Now it's 1 3/4 inches, and that's a lot smaller than I usually do my binding. I usually do a 2.5 inch binding, but on the wall hanging like this, I liked it really small like that. It turned out really nice, really well. It's all hand stitched to the back. There was no way I was going to mess with putting any machine stitching anywhere on this. I liked it just as a framework, like you would for a picture frame, and I did not want to add any extra decorations in there. I 100% love the way this turned out. Now this will be going into the shop. If I don't have it already in there, just give me a day or so if you're interested, and you'll be able to see it in my Artfire shop. Links always down below in the descriptions. Plus, if you just Google RsIslandCrafts, everywhere I'm hanging out is really listed right there. So I love it. In all honesty, I'll probably go ahead and make another one of these for myself, but I'll probably change up a little bit. I don't know if I'll do a single pumpkin or those ones where they stack them up or where they're lined up or something. I don't know. I really love this style of a wall hanging, and I'll probably go ahead and make more of those. It would be really cute with a snowman in the center or a Christmas tree, or a turkey. A turkey would be really nice. And that way I can mix my love of quilting with my love of hand embroidering, and if I add the coloring on it, I love the color too. In my last knitting project, and where probably I spent most of my week working on, This is my 3-color cashmere cowl. It's by Joji Locatelli. You can find it on Ravelry. It's a paid-for pattern. But as you can see, I was right here. So I finished off my stripes and I'm into the large. This is going to be the widest section. I really wasn't sure about those red and white stripes, but now that they're in with the purples and it kind of blends in together, it's not like, shockingly white and red right in the middle. It just kind of blends in nicely. I am still doing a little bit of a texture pattern, as you can see. Nothing big and defined, just a little purl stitches here and there. So my goal is to have this done by the end of October. Sooner is better, so this is what I've been picking up. Even when I want to put it down at night, I still keep knitting on it until I start dozing off. I usually switch over to either the washcloths or my miter square blanket, and that's probably why you're not seeing as much progress, because if I don't work on the miter in the morning, I like to work on it and make at least a block before bed. But I've been forcing myself to keep working on this so I can get it done, because I want to be able to have it done in plenty of time to gift for Christmas. Last but not least, stick through to the end because I also have some postcards that I received to show you, is my button project. Now, if you want to see this in its whole glory, go ahead and watch my Talk to Me Tuesday from yesterday. And I had that sitting up to where you can see the whole thing. Granted, you are at a little bit of a distance then, but you kind of need the distance to be able to see it all. I put a couple dozen buttons in, I think. I put a lot in this red section. I picked up a little container of buttons from the Dollar Tree, just $1, just this little tiny container like this. And it has tons of buttons in it. And what's going to be good at the end, it has tons of those little teeny tiny buttons like you would put in the lapel of your shirt just to hold your collar down. You know how tiny those buttons are. And then it had these really big ones in like this. This button here says Calvin Klein. On the back it says Calvin and Klein. And I was going to flip it over for that detail, but I really liked the way this had almost like 2 buttons together where it was raised up. So I added in the red. I still need to get some more orange buttons and I need some more green, but I did add some of the blue greens in through here. And once again, my purples are lacking. I'd like to get some light purples. I did add a few. Like this one says Monton Monton. I don't know what Monton Monton is, but every time I see it, it looks like Wonton Wonton to me. So this container had some nice, fun, shiny buttons with these swirlies in it and stuff. It was just a nice little container of craft buttons. Let me go grab it. It's buttons by Crafter Square Notions. So it's just a nice little container. Now it's a great container too to actually store your buttons in. But it has all these, see, like these teeny tiny, like that little red one. And it has all different sizes, all the way up into the bigger ones. Some of them have writing on them, some of them don't. I really like the color on this button, but I was only going to put the red ones down, but then as I got going, I just had to keep adding more. There are a few purple ones in here, and thankfully there are some orange too, but I still need to go ahead and grab some of the larger orange ones to get that filled out first before I put little ones in. So I found the easy way for me to go ahead and work on this project is to put it down on this table here with cutting mats underneath it, so when I put my needle down, I'm not stabbing into the table or scratching into it, because it's one of these tables where it has that vinyl top on it. And my needle would constantly get stuck if I didn't put a cutting mat under it. So I would just have to stand up to actually do this project. I wanted to do like a long term where I can sit down for a couple hours and work on it, but that didn't work out. It's too hard to just hold this in your lap. You kind of need to lay it out. And that way I can go ahead and go like this and add my button in. Plus it makes noise now when you move it around. It's starting to get a little heavy. It's going to be interesting to hang it on the wall and decide how I'm going to hang it. It's definitely going to need some type of a support, something, because it's going to be heavy. So I'm going to let you look at my galaxy of buttons while I grab the postcards. Now, I've got 3 postcards. They came in from 2 different people. I've got this old-fashioned Aloha from Hawaii. This is, I would think this is back to like maybe the 50s or something, it reminds me of, with the big long lei where she's putting all the flowers together. I think you're getting, do you get real flowers now, or are you getting those plastic ones so you can take home a souvenir, I think. And this one is from Cancun, Mexico. A lot of the places when you're in the tropical areas, they all look the same. This could be Florida, this could be Mexico, this could be Hawaii or California. Everyone just kind of basically looks the same after a while. Beautiful sunset with the boats. And then this one's from Toronto. Definitely a city. You can tell this does not look like Florida at all. Now we do, in Cape Coral, we do have a lot of our maps will show and postcards will show our little harbors like this with all the boats all docked. We do have something like that. But we have height restrictions here in Cape Coral. You don't see buildings very much like this. I think we only have one building. It's an apartment building that is more than 3 or 4 stories tall. There's all kinds of regulations. So, because being in a touristy area and being near the water and stuff, you want to be able to see. You don't want your view blocked by buildings and everything. Because who wants to come on a vacation and just be stuck in the middle of a city where you can't see anything? Even when you go to Miami, you can go and see the ocean and everything and all the beaches. So thank you very much for the postcards. I love them. I did take all my postcards down off the wall. I'm going to put them back up. But I think I want to put it up with, I want to maybe make a fabric banner and then put the postcards in between the you know, the little pendants of the banner or something like that. Or for every pendant that I make, I'll put a postcard on top of it. I don't know. I'm trying to decide how I want to make it. I just had them hanging off of a ribbon to start with. But then when I rearranged my quilting wall, then I had to move that. I have some of my favorites are hanging up over my desk so I can see them when I sew. I'm sure I'll come up with something, and then I'm sure 6 months from now I'll go ahead and change that something into something else. But that's just how it goes. Sometimes you get inspired and you thought you really loved the way you had things decorated, but then you just come back through and you rearrange your furniture and you like it even better. Well, that's it for me this week. I hope you guys are getting a lot of your craft projects done. If you're having a handmade Christmas this year, you might want to get started. We're coming up to the end of October. Halloween's right around the corner, and then you know after that, the next 2 months are going to just speed right on by. Between all the preparations that we have to do for Thanksgiving, and then you start decorating for Christmas, and then you have all those parties you go to, the time is just going to fly right by. So you might want to either get started right now or kind of decide which kind of gift cards you're going to purchase this year. But that's it for me. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye!